Tune into my interview with Mike Peterson, president of the League City Historical Society, and with Tucker Hart, singer-songwriter and co-founder of the League City Folk Music Association.
So we wanted to have something that's still specialized for us, for what League City Folk Association, League City Historical Society has started. So what we all came up with, and we all talked about this, and we kept going back and forth with messages. What is the best name? And we said Music in the Historic District of League City, and that's sort of now what the name is.
So that's the official name.
That's the official
Music in the Historic District.
Music in the Historic District. And Tucker went ahead and actually brought some stickers for you now. Are they the new ones that
These
show?
are the new.
Okay, perfect.
These are the new ones.
Cool.
Did you already have one, Mike?
I don't know if I have the new one.
All right.
Yeah, so there it is. So we have another one that when you go to the website, it actually does say Music in the Historic District.
Okay.
And so that's the really cool thing on the websites and all that stuff, the way that we're now trying to market it for us.
My wife came up with that design.
Okay.
And so
Awesome.
she's done all the, with the new campaign with the merch that we have. She's designed all of that. So.
Okay.
And let me
Super
tell
talented.
you, Rachel Hart is a angel. Not only she's beautiful inside and out, and again they have 3 beautiful daughters, and for her, for a mother running a business, and the way she's involved in this, God bless her. I mean, without her, again, we would not be near where we are. Especially when she gets up in front of the group, just to talk about house rules. She's just so elegant with it. It's amazing.
Okay. So now, how does League City Folk Association tie in? What is League City Folk Association?
So, I'd recently found out about the museum back in 2019, and I got to talk to Mike when my dad and stepmom moved in, and man, our family's known you for ages, and and my dad said, "Hey, there's a museum down here," and I remember driving past. But I didn't know. I mean, I've lived here my whole life.
Right.
43 years in May, and I had no idea this museum was down here. And so I got to know Mike and Katie, and I found out that the preservation and promotion of history of League City is not funded by League City at all, not a dime. And so I got to thinking, well, they're paying out of pocket. With attendance, with school functions coming in, keeping the lights on, any repairs that they have. So I thought, well, you know what? What if we just put together kind of like a song circle and just kind of pass the bucket around? Mm-hmm. And so I just had this idea. I was trying to think, because, back we have the Houston Folklore Society that's been around for ages. And so I'm a huge fan of Townes Van Zandt, Guy Clark, John Prine, name a few, and work with the Old Quarter Acoustic Cafe down in Galveston.
Okay.
I know Rex Bell really well, and
he's even been here a few times.
So I got to thinking, well, how can we help promote League City Historical Society? How can we raise awareness and raise money? And so that's where the League City Folk Association got to going on that. Okay. And mainly I just wanted, because, when you hear folk, there's all sorts of different types of folk music, right? But immediately you think, okay, guitars aren't going to be cranked to 11. There's not going to be, loud, distortion and screaming and stuff. I wanted music that's family friendly. It's focused on stories and community and just people getting around, sharing stories and getting to know each other better. And how can we help promote community post-COVID? And so we just had this idea and League City Historical Society was wonderful enough to bless these grounds. So we started meeting out here and blown away at how quickly it's taken off. I say over and over again, the main draw of these music performances isn't the location. It's not about what I do or League City Folk Association does. It's our audience. We have the best audience I've ever been around. They've worked really hard to promote an outdoor listening room, which is unheard of. I mean, you have 300 people quiet and listening.
That's surprising.
Yeah. And it's blown away because you have these musicians like myself. I do this for a living, so I played at Baxter a lot. Play Freebird, that one guy, dodging beer bottles. It's just stuff, right? But when you're a singer-songwriter and you go out to perform and you have upwards of 300 people quiet and engaged in what you're doing, that's the huge draw. Yeah. That's why this thing is so successful. Is because of our audience and the musicians who volunteer a paid gig on Fridays. A lot of them are full-time musicians. They'll sacrifice a Friday gig to come and play with us, which is huge.
Now, when did that get started? You talked about first coming out here in Historical Society.
March of 2020.
Yeah. March of 2020. Okay.
Yeah, so Tucker had actually called me, and and again, with his dad living right across the street from me and that, we started definitely talking about it. So before you really do anything such as that at a museum like this that's well taken care of and that, you got to go to the board. Right. So I went to the board, and then we really set goals forth. The goal really was not only for it to be a family-focused event, setting the ground rules to where, listen, people will be here, people will really enjoy themselves. And by setting those ground rules of what we'll accept, and, like what you said, we shut it off at 10 o'clock to respect the neighbors, those kind of things. And I think one of the biggest goals for me for the League City Historical Society was for League City the Historical Society to be known by more people. And that's the thing that really touched Tucker and I and Rachel, is that how people would come out and they'd say, God, we never knew that this place was here. So when we first started it back in, March of 2020, literally we did it right here in front of the museum, right there on the stage of the barbershop and the ice house, which is a historical location for League City. And that's where it was just beautiful. And I mean, God, just the picture taken. And that's one thing that Tucker kept telling me, because we kept looking at, should we move it? Should we move it? And he says, but Mike, it's the picture taking that's just so beautiful, the ambiance and all that. So as we started to grow, we literally have to line cars on the street because we were growing. So we went from 30 to 70 to 100. And then finally, Tucker and I and Rachel and Katie, we all went ahead and we said, you know what? It's all safety first. Bottom line, safety first. So we said, we've got to go to the outdoor classroom. So we held a few out there. When it was raining and it was muddy, we brought it back here. But then we really saw the benefits out there, up underneath the beautiful moonlight, all the stars out, when the weather's nice and that, just like Tucker said. Everybody's sitting there. We bring all the pews out. People bring their chairs and that, and literally people sit there and listen. And I hate to say it, I love music, but I never was capable of being able to perform it. And I don't understand the intricacies that go with it. And it's just what Tucker mentioned. So many of the artists would come up to me and they said, Mike, it's amazing. Everybody's listening to us. We go to bars and everybody's doing this and doing that, and nobody's listening, and I'm up there singing to myself. So sure enough,